Radcast News. Hey guys, Ryan Alford, your host of the Radcast.
You're listening to the Radcast.
If it's radical, we cover it. Here is Ryan and Riley.
Here's your host, Ryan Alford.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Ryan Alford. Welcome to the latest edition of the Radcast. We're here in the middle of our e-commerce series and excited to have our guest today. Again, Sean and I were just talking, and we could go a lot of avenues, but want to really talk about Sean Whalen and his growth with lions, not sheep. Sean, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Cool. Well, again, I know we could go down a lot of rabbit trails, a lot of things, but let's just start there. I don't want to cap us too much, but as we build towards where you've taken Lions Not Sheep and all the e-commerce growth there, maybe let's just back up. Let's give our audience, I know you got a huge following, but it may not be the following of our podcast that have heard of you and know about you. Let's just start there. The recap of Sean and history and what got you there. I know that loaded question, brother, but
No, I'll keep it super simple. I mean, I was really successful at a young age. Grew up in a single parent home, built a couple of companies and made a lot of money in my 20s. And I talk about in my book how I felt like I was juggling bowling balls. The success looks like this and it needs to be this. And so I'm working 20-hour days, building, growing the whole thing. And when I was at work, I needed to be at home. When I was home, I needed to be at work. And kind of the whole, really what a lot of men are going through, not just today, years ago, but, where we're at as a culture and a society is like, this is what success looks like. If you're on Instagram, it's like, you got to be here. You got to be balling. If you're not working 29 hours a day, like you're a fuck up. It's just, I was that guy. And I essentially quit juggling all the bowling balls. And I don't know what a midlife crisis is, but I left my marriage. I left my business. I stuck my head up my ass for over a year trying to figure out not how to make money, how to build business, but like, why was I even here? Like, what's the purpose of all this? Like, why am I doing any of this? You know what I mean? I've got the cars and the Rolexes, but what am I even doing with any of this? And so I went on an interesting journey. I got really depressed, suicidal, and found myself in a really, really, really dark place, and ended up hiring a coach, trying to figure out, how do I get out of this mindset? How do I shift things around? And one of the things that he had challenged me to do was to start sharing my thoughts and what was going on social media. And at the time I was like, believe it or not, my ex-wife had Facebook and a year before I did. And I was like, that's the stupidest thing ever. Why would I do that? I didn't believe in it. Right. Yep. Which is ironic now, having almost 1 billion views in my videos and stuff. But
yeah, and the 37 stories I've watched of yours just today.
yeah. I mean, it's phenomenal. We talk about that from a marketing perspective in a minute, but
yeah,
I went through a really nasty divorce, and to make a really long story short, I ended up sharing one night some real dark shit, some stuff that I was, ashamed of and had been hiding, and really just told the truth. For lack of better words, I just fucking told the truth for once, which was like, instead of doing the alpha thing, it was like, no, dude, like, I said a lot of dumb shit. I was angry. Like, I didn't have all of the answers. And that post ended up going viral. Millions and millions and millions of people saw it. I went from having like 200 friends on Facebook to almost 40,000 followers in a matter of 10 days. And people were hitting me up going, dude, teach me more. What classes do you have? I'm like, yo, pump the fucking brakes, man. I'm just telling you my shit, right? Like, I'm not Dr. Phil, call somebody else. And in that process, I left the company, I left everything, and I kind of still dabbled in real estate. But one day the phrase Lions Not Sheep came into my mind. I was looking at this catalog, and there was another company that was something kind of similar, and it just popped into my head, and it just resonated, and it wouldn't go away. And for days, it just Lions Not Sheep. And I kept thinking to myself, like, looking at everything in life, like I have a choice, right? To follow and to do what everybody else is doing, and to buy this because he bought this, or build this because he built this, or this is what this needs to be. And it was like, no, dude, fuck that. Like, what do I want to do? Like, who do I want to be? Like, what life do I want to build? When you tear everything down and essentially burn it to the ground, you're pretty much starting from scratch. I knew what my skill sets were. I knew what I was good at, but like, I just decided to do the things that I was really passionate about. Like, what do I really want to do? And when Lions Not Sheep came to me, I called my buddy who owned a clothing company one day, and I said, "Hey man, can you make me a t-shirt?" He said, "Sure." And so I went online, literally went to like fonts.com and found this cool font and did this. And I was like, "Yeah, can you do this?" And he got it to his designer, and I spent $40 to make a screen and made a t-shirt. Our original, the original Lions Not Sheep, black and white t-shirt.
Oh.
And I was wearing it one day, and I had a picture, and I posted it on Facebook, and all these comments started coming in. "Dude, that's badass. Where'd you get that? Can I get that shirt?" And I called my buddy. I was like, "I don't know how to sell t-shirts. Like, how the fuck do I build?" He's like, "I'll set you up a Shopify store and whatever." And so that kind of started the whole, for me, it was just my mantra. It just became my way of thinking, my way of being. It was very personal to me. And I saw a lot of people gravitate towards it. A lot of people connect with it. And we started selling the t-shirts, and then, I formed the company, and then I formed multiple companies inside of that. And it became, and what is now a huge movement, where, millions of people engage with the content and know about it. And just recently we've had some people that have, a guy named Ian Smith, who's in New Jersey, who the governor was trying to shut his gym down. Yeah. I woke up one morning, this is probably a month and a half ago, and I had been tagged like over 100 times in this post. I'm like, what the fuck? And I open up Instagram, and there's this guy who's like super defiant, like screw the governor, whatever. And he's got a Lions Not Sheep hat on. Well, I'm not connected to him. He's not connected to me. It was just like, oh, dope. So I followed him and said, "Hey man, love the hat," whatever. He's like, "Oh dude, I've been following you." Like, just started, like, knew the brand. He ended up just seeing one of our ads and bought the hat, and his post went viral. And it was really interesting. Over the course of the next couple of days, he was on CNN, Fox, Tucker Carlson, all these big shows, and he was wearing the Lions Not Sheep gear and our Free Man t-shirt. And it was just really cool to see that he didn't know me per se, but he vibed with the brand. He recognized it, resonated with it, and decided to buy a shirt and a hat. And it just kind of brought me full circle. Like, yeah, man, like, this was me, my kind of rebirth, coming back into the marketplace, kind of getting my balls back and building some business. And now knowing that it resonates literally with millions of people around the world, it's pretty freaking amazing. So that's about a 20-year story in 3 minutes.
Yes. A couple things to unpack there. I mean, how enlightening was it? I can only imagine, like you said, you felt like you lived not necessarily a lie, but you never felt comfortable being transparent and being maybe vulnerable, if I can use that word.
Sure.
How enlightening was that moment when, holy shit, I'm being myself, and I'm garnering the attention, not that maybe you were seeking before when you were copying everyone else, but just the irony in that had to be just fucking amazing.
It was. And what's interesting is, we're all, and this is kind of some of the stuff that I teach, like, we're all programmed to lie. Okay. I don't care who's watching this, black, white, gay, straight, rich, poor. All of us were programmed the exact same way, to lie. And don't believe me? I mean, go back to when you were a kid. Sit down, quiet down, slow down. You're a little child. You go to church. This is right. This is wrong. Don't say this. Don't do that. And when you really stop and think about it, like, we've been indoctrinated since we were children to do as we're told, to speak words that will be pleasing to everyone. Don't rustle anybody's feathers. And that's literally what we do from when we're little children, elementary school, middle school, high school. You got to raise your hand to go to the bathroom. I mean, nowadays you can't say shit. I say anything and I'm called a neo-Nazi online and this and that and the other. I piss everybody off, right? But when you think about it, like, we've been programmed since we were little children to not speak our truth, to not share what's inside. We're told, tell the truth, tell the truth, tell the truth. But the ramifications for telling the truth are dark. They're bad. Slap on the hand, put them in a principal's office. Parents are mad at you. So we just lie. And as you get older, you become a man. It's like, we don't talk about emotions. We don't talk about where we're really at. You just man the fuck up, put on your big boy pants and get after it. And the truth of the matter is that, more men killed themselves in 2018 than during the Great Depression. Why? It's not because there's a lack of money or a lack of opportunity or a lack of chicks or, ass running around. It's because dudes are like trapped in this box like I was 10 years ago. I'm like, dude, I'm not happy with where I'm at, but I don't know how to talk about it. And my boys are like, hey man, how you doing? I'm like, I'm good, right? You hear that? I'm good. Well, then all of a sudden, oh shit, Bob killed himself. We didn't even know Bob was sad. Bob looks like he's got the ideal life. Well, you know what I mean? And so when I talk to people about this and I coach on this, it's like, no one thinks that they're lying, but the reality is if you're not speaking the truth, then what is it? And if you're not sharing what's really inside of you, how you really feel, what's really going on, it's not an issue of political correctness or I don't want to piss anybody off. It's like, what are you doing? Are you speaking your truth? Yes or no? Well, I can't because my mom follows me on Instagram or my church people are over here and this, that, and the other. And so we literally are living lies. A vast majority of our culture, our society is just fucking lying. And so the challenge from my coach was share what you're really thinking and feeling. And when I shared that post, it was raw. It was scary as shit because I talked about anger. I talked about frustration. I talked about not knowing what the hell was going on, right? But what was really interesting is this, and this is a huge lesson for people to understand. I noticed two things that happened. Number one, people resonated with my message. Millions of people resonated with it. There's all these people like, I'll teach you how to go viral. Nobody has a fucking recipe to go viral. Anybody tries to sell you a course of how to make viral videos, tell them to fuck off because it doesn't exist, right?
Yep.
But I didn't wake up one day going, you know what, I'm kind of tired of making money in real estate. I'm going to be a social influencer. I just shared my shit, but I shared darkness. It wasn't the filtered, rosy, look at my win, look at my accolades, look at my cool crap. It was like, dude, I was depressed. I almost blew my freaking brains out. Like I made a lot of mistakes. And I realized that millions of people resonated with that because we're all experiencing that in one way, shape, or form, right? Sex, money, politics, religion, divorce, depression, bankruptcy, suicide. Those are topics we don't talk about. They're not politically correct, not socially acceptable. Yet everyone on this planet is somehow intertwined with sex, money, politics, religion, divorce, depression, bankruptcy, all of these fucking things. So what do we talk about all day long? So I realized the first thing was how many people resonated with my darkness. And I coined and the phrase, your message, and bought the domain. And that'll probably be the title of one of my books coming down the pipe here. But my mess literally became my message. And the second thing that I saw after I shared this was that I felt better. It was almost like, okay, got that out there.
Got that out of the
Good.
way.
You know what I mean? And so when I talk to entrepreneurs and business owners and people, I'm like, dude, you're a better father when you feel better. You're a better mother when you feel better. You're a better everything when you feel better. Lying doesn't feel good. Lying is scary. It's do they know? Do they know? Do they know? Where you just fucking tell the truth and you got nothing to worry about. So it's like, if this is the recipe for me connecting with people and me feeling better, then I'm just going to keep doing it. And at the time, 5 years ago, and not that I was the only guy sharing shit on social media, but very few people are talking about real raw shit. It's just airy-fairy political things, reshares of this. And so I just went on a mission, like, I'm going to share me. And since then, I've literally have almost 1 billion views of my videos, millions of followers. I mean, literally hundreds of millions of engagements on my posts from Instagram to Facebook. I mean, some of my videos have reached 150, 160, 170 million views of one video, which is just mind-bending to me, right? But that's what I found is my own little kind of recipe, and I felt better. The marketplace resonated with it, and I just kept fucking running it.
I love it. I want to get into some nuts and bolts on the back half here on the e-commerce, but I do have one follow-up because I feel like no matter how lost you may have felt, kind of being what you categorized as a man that everybody wanted you to be and not the real, maybe you, something has shaped Sean Whalen at some point in life, well before you got lost or you got found or anything like that. I feel like there has to be these opinions and these beliefs that kind of formed all of this. Something shaped that either early, whenever, I would think.
I don't know. Nobody's ever asked you that. Thinking back on life, like my parents split up when I was an early teenager. I was actually a really quiet kid. I was really reserved. I was a chubby little kid. I was a pretty good baseball player, but like I wasn't popular. I wasn't the class valedictorian. I was really, really quiet, really reserved. And I think for me, when looking back at it, when I went on a Mormon mission, I went on a 2-year Mormon mission. That was where really started to kind of find my voice. I mean, you're out basically selling God when you're going door to door, pitching God to people. And it was something I was really passionate about. It was something that like, I didn't grow up in the Mormon church. I grew up Catholic. And so I was kind of a recent convert to the church. And I just started realizing that people love to connect. People love to talk. And I was really good at it. I was good at just talking to people. And I know that sounds really weird, but like, there really is an art form to communication. There's an art form to being able to not just talk, oh, so, hey, how's your water? Like, why do you like that water? Okay, great. You know, whatever, but like really fucking listening to people and hearing them and knowing what's driving them. And something that I've always been fascinated about and with is what's behind it. You know, this is why headlines and shit, I'm not like bouncing around like every other freaking bozo where like, oh my God. I'm like, you know, let's talk about this for a second. I like to critically think. And for me, being able to be in a place where I can ask deeper questions, it's fun for me. Yeah. And I found, you know, on my mission as I was talking about God, I mean, God's such a crazy topic for so many people because you have people that are way over here and then people are way over here and people have no clue. And so it kind of forced me to really, number one, find my foundation, like what I really believed and how I really felt about life and who I was and purpose and the entire thing. Sure. But I found that like people just love to connect. And so it's just become almost a skill set, an art form that I've just gotten better and better and better at is communicating with human beings. But, you know, it doesn't come from my youth. I mean, I was a quiet freaking kid, man.
Well, it's interesting because I've shared some of your stuff with people and they go, oh man, he's pretty hardcore on this, that, and the other. And, you know, he's a great I said it. I call you're a great communicator, period. I mean, I
love talking. I mean, when you really give a shit about people, like when you really care, like I think it's something that, I mean, we're just so busy trying to believe me, hear me, this is me. And it's like, it sounds funny, but if it can't be explained on a whiteboard or like with crayons, it's too complicated. We should not have a tax policy in America that can't be explained on a fucking whiteboard, right? We should not have foreign policies that take 30,000 page freaking manuals to fucking explain, right? No one's interested in that, really. And so we can tie this into the marketing and the business and the whole thing. Like, copy is really important. You know what I mean? Like, what are you telling me? Everybody knows they're being sold something. So we've already got that out of the way. But what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to communicate with me? Yay, yay, nay, nay. Like, if the answer is a simple no, then just fucking say no, right? Yep. But I love being able to look at complex things, and I break it down in my brain to just like coloring book kind of conversations. Like, yeah, this is what this really is. And it's just more, to me, it's more fun that way. I have more connection to stuff that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's talk about lionsnotsheep.com. I mean, you know, we work, you know, we're a digital agency here and we work with a lot of brands and, you know, they come to us and they have great products, but they have no story.
Right.
And yeah, I will take a company that has a purpose and a story all day because it's organic, you know. Yeah. Again, it just becomes about blocking and tackling. It's real hard to figure out the Hail Mary, you know, the message, you know, the blocking and tackling you can do, but let's get to some of that blocking and tackling. What have been some of those mechanics of, you know, because I've heard you talk about it. You're like, you know, you started the company, you were selling t-shirts, you had a message, you had a plan, but something poured gas on the fire, you know, for the tactics and some of the ways with which you've seen growth. Can you talk about some of that?
Yeah, for sure. I first of all, you know, there's two philosophies in my opinion. Like anybody who's a really, really, really good ad guy or copy guy or whatever, I mean, you can take any product and figure out a way to sell it, right? And there's a lot of people that do that. They take, you know, products from China, they're really good, they figured out the game, the algorithms, they can do that. And then there's people that have passion behind something, they live it, they breathe it, they sleep it. It's big to them because their kid has cancer and they want this product out there and they want this thing or that thing. And there's a story and a connection behind it. And either one of those is phenomenal, right? But I think the people that struggle the most are the ones that they feel like they have that passion and they feel like everybody's supposed to have that passion. Dude, this shirt is so badass and this saying and everybody's going to buy this saying and this entire thing. But like, I've found for me that I embodied Lions Not Sheep. It literally was for me. You know what I mean? Like when I wrote my book, which has sold over 500,000 copies completely organically. I mean, I didn't even put page numbers in there. We forgot it. It was so basic and just put out there in the marketplace. I wrote a book that I wanted to read, like that I would want to read. And I think a lot of people need to realize, like, what do you want to wear, right? It's easy to come up with slick marketing and slick products and whatever. But if there's no marketplace for it, it doesn't fucking matter how great your landing page is, how this, that, the other. So when you're trying to tie in that story, you know, like, why is this relevant to you? Like, why do you believe in this? And I've literally, for the last couple of years, I've been talking about Lions Not Sheep, and it's become me. And people have watched my journey as a father, as a business owner, as a man, as a divorced guy, as a dating guy. Like, all of these things, I've been really transparent. And I think people vibe with that. They resonate with it, right? And so for me, Lions Not Sheep, everybody's been telling me, dude, you're in the perfect storm now with the whole political climate and Trump, because it's like you're one or the other, right? You're picking you're either the lion or you're the sheep, which is great, you know, but
yeah, there's 175 million people on your side. Right down the million.
Here's what's cool is everybody now wants to jump on that, right? And they want to plug into that emotion. They want to plug into the political climate and whatever. And you really don't have a track record. You don't have a tribe. You don't have any of that. I didn't set out to do that. And I think that's what really makes Lions Not Sheep unique. And I think a lot of people need to wrap their head around this. And it's really difficult to do, is having the consistency of delivering content and messaging for the long game. Because now we're in the perfect fucking storm. Now we're crushing because so much content has been put out there over the last couple of years. And it wasn't with the objective of selling t-shirts or selling hats or selling any of that shit. My mom literally, she retired last year and she was bored as shit. I said, Mom, come help me make t-shirts. And so we had one heat transfer. She was in the office and we'd sell 20 shirts a month, just people stumbling on the website. And she'd run down and she'd get the shirts and she'd make them and she'd write a little note, package them all out. And that was really what the apparel brand was until the beginning of this year. But being able to like sit in a story and deliver that to people that they believe without trying to sell them anything is massive. And that's a huge tactic that I don't think very many people understand. Is I believe that the very best salespeople on planet Earth are never selling anything. Like you go to my Instagram or my Facebook, you will never see me selling anything. Yet I'm literally able to make millions of dollars through coaching and consulting and other companies that I have, but I'm not selling anything. So how does that work? I'm living it. I'm breathing it. I'm exuding it, right? And that's, if you're a Jeep guy, you want to start a brand around Jeeps, right? If you're driving a fucking Honda Accord, good luck, right? You better know the clicks and the algorithms. But it's like some of those dudes who are like hardcore Jeep guys, they get it. They know what Jeep guys talk about. They know what Jeep guys want. And they're able to exude that message, right? And people instantly resonate with it. So I really do believe that you're in a day and age where we're completely bombarded and flooded with products and things and ads and messages. And if you want the short game, you better freaking figure out how to become a really good marketer, a really good copywriter, and buy ads better than anybody else. But if you want to build a real brand, like something that has legs that will be around for a long fucking time, that resonate with people, like, why is it important to you? And you better be fucking living it. If you're living it and talking about it, everybody's like, do I have my personal page or my this page or that? I don't even know how many hundreds of thousands of followers on my personal page. I have way less than my business page because I'm always living this, talking about it, breathing it, eating it. And you'd be surprised how many people can plug into that. And now that we're turning on ads and running ads and doing shit like that, where I have almost 1 billion views of my videos, I can now target some of those videos and you know what I'm saying? Yep. So, but I've been playing the long game and consistently doing the content, consistently talking about it. And people just know, like, some people will see the shirts. I get messages where they're like, dude, that's the bearded guy. Like, that's the bearded guy. They don't know my name because they recognize my video or a post. And they're like, I know that guy. That's his thing. Right. And it's really cool.
What's the vision? I mean, where are we going? You know, I know you're knee deep in a lot of things. I know this has opened doors, and you've got, you know, your coaching, How to Make Shit Happen is the book. Everyone listening, go check it out on Amazon. Is it Amazon or just your personal site?
Amazon. Yeah.
Amazon. But where are we headed? Where are you going?
Well, right now we're trying to put the wheels back on the bus. We got our asses kicked in production. We grew so fast. I turned everything on back in March. And what I mean by that is I hired a team to come in. We started running ads. I'd never run an ad before. I'd never put ads out there. And we went from that to, we were doing $2,000 to $3,000 a month of just apparel sales. And we did $463,000 last month of apparel sales in basically 90 days.
A lot of damn t-shirts.
And it fucked some things up. And I learned some very valuable, expensive lessons on production and being able to keep up. And it's kind of a funny story. I mean, everybody thinks it's just sunshine and roses, but all my kids and their friends worked for me, and they were all part of our production team. And so we were doing the heat transfers and the whole thing. And I'd run all the numbers, and I got all the production companies and all the big promotional companies. They were hitting me up. Let us do your shit. Let us do your shit. Long story short, we had 10 of them employed as we were just crushing. We went from literally like picking up one box of shirts and screen prints to getting pallets delivered. One of the kids apparently got COVID, and because they're all like my daughter's friends, 9 out of the 10 kids, their parents made them quit. Their parents made them literally self-quarantine. Oh. And so we were doing 350 orders a day, which represents about 600 to 700 shirts. And so we were like, no problem. We'll get a temp agency and bring all these people. Well, they fucking takes forever for them to learn and speed and anyways, we got really far behind. We got about 6,000 shirts behind.
Wow.
And the team came in and they're like, bro, we got a problem. And I'm over here like, go, let's go. And they're like, hang on, bro, we got a fucking problem, because even if we work 24 hours a day, we can't get the numbers that we need. Yeah. And so
if that wheel on the bike isn't working, you can't pedal.
It's funny though, because I've got some guys, some dear friends of mine that are big in the e-com space. They do millions of dollars a month. And I've told them this and they all laugh and chuckle, because they're like, yeah, dude, like, you know what I'm saying? Like every single person has this happen to them. I had a buddy who was bringing in hoverboards, and he bought like 20,000 hoverboards from China, and they had already sold a bunch of them. And then they all got hung up in customs. And he's like, it cost me almost $1 million. And I'm like, yeah, this is a fucking pain in the ass. And he's like, well, now that you're learning it, the vision for me is obviously getting that part of the business straightened out, which we do now. But, I really do. I'm passionate about this, man. I'm passionate about the ability of, especially with men, to really fucking step into who they are, and not in some hippy dippy way, but like, I'm 41 years old, and there's a lot of 41-year-olds that are like, okay, I got the house and the car and the kids and the thing. Like, why do I fucking hate my life? Why am I not doing anything I want to do? I mean, my wife and I, we eat at the same place. We fucking vacation at Disneyland once a year. Like, what am I doing with my life? And Lions Not Sheep, and me specifically, is, I'm coaching a lot. I've got multiple facets to the business, but I really want to show people that it's possible. You know what I mean? Like that. Building a really badass life is possible. It's not whimsical. It's not because I got a silver spoon. In fact, it's anything but. With me, I've worked my ass off for this, and I want to be able to show people and show kids and teenagers, like, we got one shot at this reality. We have one shot at this life. Like, go build the shit you want to build. I mean, I've never built an apparel company. And I'm building a multi-million-dollar apparel company. It's like, I'm showing people literally, like, I'm posting on Instagram my numbers every single day, sales and all this other shit. Cause it's like, I'm showing people how this is done, right? To literally be able to build from scratch a huge brand. But to me, like, I want my end game is, I want Lions Not Sheep to be a global company, and to have a majority of our people not have any clue who I am. That's my end game. Is I want to leverage what I've got now through social media and the following and connections and whatever. But I want somebody to be able to see this hat, see this message, see this t-shirt, resonate with it, and have the same feeling of empowerment and power that I do, and that, thousands of other customers and people do. So that's my end game. But we've got, 6 different companies inside of Lions Not Sheep that are all doing different things. And it's fun, man. It's fun.
It's sweet. Well, I love the way you bring your kids in to talk about it. I've got 4 boys under the age of 11, so we're knee deep in it. But I love the way you bring them in. You talk about that. You're transparent about it, and
well, like, work here. It's like they got to see me get my ass kicked, and like, I'm talking to my son, and we literally have a pile of shirts that are sitting on the warehouse floor that we ended up trying to solve. Part of our problem is they outsourced to another company to be able to help us expedite these shirts. And we sent them 5,000 shirts, and almost every single one of them came back completely fucked up. Like, the logos were all crooked and this and that and the other. So we literally have a pile, and I'm like looking at my son. I was like, that's $25,000 sitting on the floor right there that I can't do anything with, And teaching them these things and showing them
Yeah,
the process. It's so freaking fun for me.
that's awesome. I don't want to ask you what do you want to. You've said it. I've interpreted where you see your legacy, but I do want to kind of ask it because, like, what do when they go Sean Whalen in 50 years, what do you want people to think?
My legacy is my kids, and it's not wealth. It's not assets that can be distributed. It's not, 401ks and IRAs. The kids are splitting. My kids are splitting up. If I play this game right, I've empowered my children to become their own entrepreneurial, independent creatures. My legacy, if you will, is if I can help these 3 kids break the chains that I came from and having dysfunction and having, a divorce at a young age and having a dad that was never around, if I can be that man to where I'm laying on my deathbed knowing I don't give a fuck about the money, but my kids know that they literally lived the fullest life with me. That's my game. I mean, then to me, I quote unquote won. I mean, my son is, he's 14 years old and he's raced the Baja 1000 with me twice. He's raced the Baja 500. And that's something I'm super proud of because it's like, that's our thing. You know what I mean? Like there's 50-year-olds that's been on their bucket list for 30 fucking years. And my son's already done it twice, And so to me, it's like, I want to be able to lay on my deathbed knowing chances are I'm never going to be on my deathbed. I'm going to blow myself up or drive my race truck off some stupid shit like that. But I want to be able to sit back and not have any fucking regrets. Know that I played the game. I was all in. I was all in every single day, like with my lover, with my kids, with my business, with my message. Like you can go back and watch thousands of videos and that whether you like me or not, whether you agree politically with me or not, that I'm spitting my truth and that it's coming from my soul. And for me, that's the game. I win if I accomplish that. And I feel like I'm on a pretty good track for that because that's how I feel literally sitting here. This is the last podcast I do. It's like, we're all in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, man. I think you're living it. And as someone that doesn't agree with every single principle of yours, I respect the hell out of you and wanted you on the podcast because I see that is as clear as day.
Yeah. Well, we're smart. You and I, everybody, we all think we're smart, right? I mean, you shouldn't think you're dumb, but like, if you're smart, I love to study and I love to read. And if you think about all of these great men that have come before us, the Carnegies, the Rockefellers, the Steve Jobs, the Steve Coveys, these literal like industry creators, and they just have changed the face of the earth. They all say the same thing at the end of their book, all of them, without question. They all literally say at the end of their books, their biographies, like if I could go back and do it all over again, I would have spent more time doing the things that I wanted to do. I would have spent more time with my family. And I consider myself a pretty smart fella. So if Carnegie, Rockefeller, Steve Jobs is saying, if I could go back and trade places with Sean at 41 and I'd spend more time playing and doing the things that I want to do, then I get what Instagram's trying to tell me. I get that I'm supposed to be balling in Lambos and jets and the whole thing. But at the end of the day, I'm enjoying my life. I'm living the life and I'm taking the counsel from those guys. And it seems to be working. It works really, really well for me. And I've literally never been this happy before, man. I mean, I got a great business. I got a phenomenal family. Like I literally wake up every day and I'm like, I'm fucking doing it,
I love it, brother. Well, I'm going to let you go. I really appreciate your time, Sean. Been really enlightening and love what you're doing. So if you're looking, follow Sean Whalen on all the social media channels. If you just Google Sean Whalen, Whalen, you'll find him, SeanWhalen.com, lionsnotsheep.com. Go find him, man. And
not hard to find. I'm all over.
I know. Find your truth as well. Sean, really appreciate it. Hey, guys, this has been the latest episode of the Radcast. Follow along at theradcast.com and at the.rad.cast on Instagram, and we'll see you next time.